friends ever since.
The other day I had to fix up my Commodore 64 because I had accidentally knocked it off of my desk and broken some of the key stems, and as part of repairing that I realised that I hadn't actually used it in a while, and so I thought it was a good excuse to hook it up and try and make some music with it. Particularly I wanted to try it along with the Roland D-110, which I've done a video on recently, because it seems like that kind of big classic kind of digital 80s sound would merge or marry really nicely with the kind of aggressive, you know, brusque nature of the C64 SID chip. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to play something basically that I've been kind of fucking about with, but I wanted to show you my setup because I think it's fairly interesting, or it is interesting to me. So I'm going to explain to you how I've got things set up so that you know what's going on before I actually play anything. In the middle here I have the Polyend tracker. This is not actually emitting any sound at all. It's just been used purely as a MIDI controller to send out the MIDI data on the different channels. I actually really like the tracker for this because I get 8 different tracks, but also each step can be a different MIDI channel and everything, so you're not really limited in that way. In terms of how it comes out and connects up to everything else, I have the USB MIDI coming out from the tracker going into this RK006 thing, which is a mini USB / mini jack MIDI host splitter through thingy mabob. It is very, very handy, really useful. Now the only problem that I found when setting this up, which actually drove me bananas, is that the Polyend tracker uses the older type A mini jack MIDI connection, whereas this and, you know, all modern other things have standardized to type B, I believe. So I can't just run my fucking, you know, mini jack cable into this. I have to go through the rigmarole of doing the USB thing. But anyway, once I worked it out, it's fine. It's all straightforward now. But this is why I kind of hate mini jack, or did so long for MIDI. The MIDI signal goes into the RK006 and then it gets split out into a couple of different places. I'll try and not knock it off the desk. The first place it goes is the Commodore 64 here. I've got mine modified with 2 SID chips in there, 6581 and whatever the other one is. I can never remember the numbers. The MIDI is coming out from the RK006 and going into this beast in here, which is a Kerberos cart. This is a nice all-in-one cartridge which has got MIDI in, out and through, I believe, and it stores a bunch of different you know, programs on it, like Synth Cart, which will be quite difficult to see. I'll dial down the exposure. But this is Synth Cart. I've done a video on this before. This is essentially like a synthesizer application for your Commodore 64. So that's one of the voices. Now in terms of the other voices, I am using the Roland D-110, which I should have already uploaded a video on. You can go and watch that. I'm using this for a few different voices. I've split them out so they're coming out individually out the back into, you know, additional outputs so that I can route them and process them separately. One of them is going into this thing, which is the Marshmallow pedal from Alexander Effects. I just got this the other day and it's a kind of weird, wild, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like a pitch shifting delay modulator thing. I have literally just started playing with it today and it sounds kind of wild. I'll give you a wee taster of it in a second. But I also have one of the drums, because the drums are all mixed onto the same output. I've got 2 drum outputs that are playing the exact same thing. However, one of them is going through this, which is from Fairfield Circuitry. It is a kind of wild ring modulator pedal. I also got this the other day. I'm just trying it out today, and it's just adding a nice wee element to the drums, which, well, you'll see what I mean. So to give you an idea of the different sounds that I've got going on in here, I have this one. You'll have to ignore the kind of noise and static that's coming from the Commodore. That's part of the SID chip's charm, but anyway. This is one of my main sounds. It's kind of a sweet sound that comes from the Roland D-110. I've got nothing on MIDI channel 2 or 3. On MIDI channel 4 I have this sound. And you can hear that delay, kind of, you know, filtered out delay thing. That's coming from the Alexander Effects pedal. On channel 5 I've got the Commodore. Pretty good. Then on channel 9. I've got this kind of plucked sound, which is also going through the Alexander Effects pedal, so you get those nice weird filtered tails. And then on channel 10, we've got the drums. Now, I'll turn you around here, because that kind of sound you hear when I play the kick drum, the resonant sound, is from this pedal from Fairfield Circuitry. So if I turn it off, that's just the kick. And so yeah, you get a nice harmonic sound to it, and when you mix the two of them together, I think it sounds pretty cool. Anyway, that's my setup for today. Fairly straightforward. I'm going to fuck about with this and record something, and then yeah, I might make it into a track later. I'm going to play it live, but I'm going to record it multi-track into Logic so I can actually do stuff later on. Yeah, anyway, see what you make of this.